you've got a whole plethora of psychic attackers to hit them with.
Absolutely. That's the thought process of a lot of players, and that's what we're going to see here in this game. As we get underway, Zakary looks like he is going first, starting a Trubbish on his side, and getting an Ultra Ball means we're probably going to see that turn 1 Tapu Lele.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you really want to get going. Set yourself up with something nice and easy, maybe a Bridget, fill yourself up with EVs and Trubbishes, and then you'll be good to play out for the rest of the game. Looks like he's going to be taking a peek through the deck, checking it, cross-referencing it with his hand, and going to be Tapu Lele. We know what's coming next, the Wonder Tag.
Absolutely, and if he does have a Psychic Energy in his hand, I didn't see if he did or not, he will be able to get that turn 1 Energy Evolution. Looks like he actually doesn't. He has a couple of double colorless energy, though. So he will get at least an energy attachment this turn. We'll just have to see where he puts it.
Yeah, I mean, he could, if he was feeling that way inclined, put it on an EV. You won't, of course, get to evolve. There's no normal type evolution. But, you know, the next turn you can immediately turn it into an Espeon and be ready to hit with some of its bigger attacks instead of relying on confusion. Absolutely.
And this is a matchup at first glance for a lot of people. Most everyone says, well, I mean, Espeon hits Buzzwole for weakness. Garbodor hits Buzzwole for weakness. This has to be Espeon Garbodor favored. But as Ryan Sablehouse said on stream earlier in his player interview, he felt like this is a matchup that even though it's supposed to be Buzzwole, it doesn't necessarily always do it. And with Igor being one of the best players in the game, you know, former world champion, finalist at the world championships, and the top 4 of the world championships, multiple-time regional champion this season, he is certainly going to know how to play this matchup and play his own deck. So gets things started with an Ultra Ball for a Buzzwole GX on the bench.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably one thing you do need to start powering them up. You need to be hitting things really, really hard. You know, trying to get one powered up for Knuckle Impact. Maybe even try a little bit of kind of sniping. Try and get that spread around. The Eevee isn't an Espeon yet. Would be something very, very nice for Igor to pick off here.
Yeah, if Igor, it is very risky, Zakary, putting this Eevee in play, because if Igor does just have one fighting energy and a Guzma, he'll be able to take a free prize effectively on this Eevee. It is weak to fighting, and it might be a little difficult for Zakary to respond immediately. We do see the Guzma come out. He will get to bring up that Eevee. There's the fighting energy, and he'll do a Jet Punch real fast, knock out on the Eevee, and 30 damage onto a benched Trubbish.
Yep, that's what he wanted there. Get rid of that threat of the incoming Espeon. Weaken up one of those Trubbishes, make it a lot easier to tidy up later. And now, you know, pretty much a third, exactly a third actually, of the Bridget that was played isn't going to be of use. So Zakary does manage to get a little bit of energy down, put it on the Tapu Lele, put it alongside the Choice Band, and he's got a Trashalanche Garbodor ready to go.
Absolutely. Going to be a threat at some point in this game. Once Igor plays a few item cards, it's very easy for Garbodor to take a knockout here on these Buzzwoles. But Zakary is setting up his Tapu Lele to just go for an energy drive. It'll do a clean 90 damage, and he'll be able to set it up to be knocked out next turn by a follow-up energy drive or even an Espeon GX's Psybeam if he gets another EV in play.
Yeah, I mean, that'll be... Softening up the Buzzwole is particularly good, especially with Igor's bench limited. He hasn't managed to play the Brooklet Hill just yet, so overall, he's not in the worst position of all time.
We're just going to see another Guzma here, actually, and going to go ahead and attach to his active Rockruff. And just a pass, I don't think Igor had, or probably just a corner, but I don't think Igor had much going on in his hand at all. That is a very weak turn on Igor's side. Yeah,
that was not what I was expecting to see from him at all there. You know, he doesn't want to get caught by something like the Tapu Lele. It doesn't matter, it's going to get Guzma back up. And there's 2 prizes very quickly taken there for Zakary.
Yeah, Igor had an extremely fast, extremely good start, but Zakary was able to respond with his Tapu Lele just coming in and doing so much work. This support Pokemon showing that it's able to do a little damage itself. Yeah. We see Choice Band plus Strong Energy. If Igor can find a Lycanroc, he actually would be able to knock out this Lele. But no, it looks like it's just going to be a wild kick. Flip a coin. If heads, this attack does 30 damage. It's actually going to do 80 due to all the damage modifiers, be the Strong Energy plus the Choice Band. 80 damage on just this little Rockruff here.
That's actually such a good number to get out of a basic Pokemon like the Rockruff. Yeah, you're going to lose it to the Energy Drive next turn, but at least before you went down, you did something. You tried to get some kind of fight out of it.
We just see an Espeon GX coming into play here due to that Energy Evolution ability on the Eevee. And, yeah, like you said, this Rockruff is going to go down. Igor is in a really bad spot here. This is a game that it's going to be kind of difficult for him to win at this point. He'll have to top deck something extremely good this coming turn.
Yeah, I mean, we do see the lock coming available here with the other Garbodor. You are going to make sure that he's not able to play any of those, basically, really any of the Pokemon with abilities. So the big thing he'd be looking for now is like, oh, maybe I can grab a Tapu Lele, get a Sycamore, keep going. Not an option right now.
Yeah, all Igor did was draw a strong energy pass. Zakary has the DCE, and that is all he needs to get the win. You gotta feel bad for Igor seeing a quick loss like that here in Game 1. But if you're gonna lose a game in a best of 3, I think you'd rather it be a quick one like that, right? You want to make sure you have plenty of time to finish 2 more games if you want to win the set. So I think, you know, if Igor was going to lose a game, he'd rather it be quick like that.
Yep, I mean, 5.5 minutes on the clock for that one, right from the get-go there. That deck, it looked like such a good start for Igor. He took the first prize.
Yep.
But in the end, his bench at no point was full. And Zakary always had that full bench. You know, he had Garbotoxin, he had a Trashalanche. Really, it wasn't... The play was his oyster. I don't want to say the world. This is only a regional tournament. But really up to him to decide what he wanted to go for, and always had something there.
Yeah, and, you know, it's actually kind of funny because Igor had that Guzma in his opening hand, got the knockout. I think he had a supporter in that hand, but Zakary played an in on his second turn, and Igor just drew nothing off of that in. We're going to see these guys draw their opening hands. Igor does get a basic. It looks like Zakary does as well. Trying to figure out what they want to get started with, and I'm sure Igor's going to be going first. No, actually, Zakary with a mulligan.
Yep, I mean, one extra card for Igor could be the one he wants.
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter if you just get end to nothing again.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think Igor is ever going to say no to extra cards at the beginning of the game, though.
Especially when you're going first.
Absolutely. Have as much access as possible to your deck.
The most galling feeling is when you're going second, your opponent mulligans a bunch, you have like, oh, look at my hand of 11 cards, someone, and
oh no.
I'm not sure which is more disappointing.
Yeah.
Taking a handful of mulligans and getting end, big wheeling, and getting
and then getting in.
That's pretty unfortunate.
Yes, definitely.
I'm pretty sure a lot of players looking forward to that card rotating.
Yeah, a lot of people not a huge fan of N, and most likely will be going out of format here at the in September after the World Championships. But over here in Toronto, it looks like Igor's going to get things started with a Buzzwole on the bench. Started a Mew, which is great for him. It's a Psychic type. It can knock out an Espeon GX, and he knows that Zachary's not going to get Garbotoxin in play next turn because he can't evolve on his first turn. Two basic fightings hitting the discard, though. Igor does not play Super Rod like Alex Szymanski did, so he's not going to have access to those energy cards, making his Max Elixirs slightly less likely to hit.
Yeah, you don't want to be playing these Max Elixirs and not hitting them. I know a lot of players talk at the end of their tournament how they rue the Max Elixir. And giving away 2 of your basic energies probably knows that he's got something else, maybe a strong energy in the hand that he'd be able to attach. This Mew, though, isn't going to be able to attack first turn, and if there's a Psychic energy available for Zakary, he's just going to be able to evolve and knock that out because of the Psychic weakness.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that Igor just grabbed a Cynthia there off of the Tapu Lele from the Ultra Ball, meaning he's going to probably be playing that this turn, meaning he's not getting that Sycamore. We talked about this a little earlier. He must just have other cards in his hand that he doesn't want to discard at this point. I think there is another strong energy, so that would be the reasoning for that. Going to go ahead and retreat to the Mew, or retreat the Mew into the Buzzwole, excuse me, which is kind of interesting because if Zakary has a Psychic energy, he'll be able to do a decent chunk of damage to this Buzzwole on his very first turn.
It's going to be no joke if he can get that energy evolution into play. The fact we've not seen it immediately, I think trying to take a peep in his hand didn't look too promising.
It looks like
no was for.
I just looked in Zachary's hand. He actually has the Espeon EX in his hand, so there's a chance his other one is prized. I'm not sure if he plays the 2-2 that some people play. Some people play like a 2-1. Some people play 1-1. We saw 2 EVs last game, but if he energy evolutions and there's no EV, or no Espeon, that won't be good. And it doesn't even look like he has that option because I don't see a Psychic energy.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to be playing pretty much the same turn as before. The Ultra Balling coming in around the houses. It's a long way, but it's well worth it. You turn that basically set of 3 cards at the beginning of your turn into 3 basic Pokemon on the bench when you make that Tapu Lele Bridget. Then get your basics play. There's the Tapu Lele. And I wonder what's coming next.
We usually do see a Bridget, but it looks like it's going to be a Cynthia. I didn't notice any other draw supporter option in his hand, so if he just Bridgeted he might not draw any other useful cards the rest of the game, so he has to go for the Cynthia here, just valuing, getting more cards in play. And if he Cynthia's the Espeon back into his deck, there's a chance he can draw the Psychic Energy he needs.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably what he's looking for here, is focusing up on getting the Espeon, making sure that the Espeon in his hand goes back in. Pretty smart play to start dealing big damage, even though his bench is going to be small, and we saw what happened to Igor in Game 1 because of that.
He had a Float Stone in his hand. I think Zakary was debating attaching that maybe to the Tapu Lele, but ultimately decided not to. Just going to go ahead and Cynthia draw himself, that nice hand of 6 new cards. We'll see if he finds the Psychic Energy. Psychic Energy plus Choice Band would be a good combo, and no Psychic Energy, no other basic, no Trubbish, no Eevee. That is not looking good. He's going to just DCE and pass over to Igor. Igor will be able to Jet Punch this turn and knock out this Eevee, but we'll see what else he can do on his turn before that. Looks like just a basic fighting going on to the active Choice Band as well. This is going to be a very threatening Buzzwole, very fast. Actually, it looks like he's going to attach it to that Fates Collide Mew on his bench, trying to get that ready to maybe attack an Espeon GX. We just see the Jet Punch doing 30 damage to the benched Lele. What does Zakary have? Another DCE. He can attack with Lele for a decent chunk of damage. But if he doesn't get any other basic Pokemon, all Igor needs is one more fighting energy.
Yep, it looks like he's going to have to at least try a draw supporter of sorts. He's going to make sure he's powering up his Tapu Lele, but then the Sycamore, making sure he maximizes his available cards. Putting himself kind of back in that game.
He does have an Ultra Ball, so he won't lose the game next turn, but it doesn't look like he didn't draw into any of the basics he wants. I think he has a Tapu Lele, but, you're not going to want to use that necessarily right now. Debating what to get rid of with this other Ultra Ball. Looks like Perilous City might be the choice for him.
He's mulling it over. I mean, he's already got another Guzma in hand. He is just going to discard an Espeon there. So the Espeon discarded, probably not going that route for the rest of the game. He's already lost one Eevee. Does grab the Trubbish off the Ultra Ball, so it looks like he's going to be setting up for those late-game Garbodors.
Yeah, he wants to, Garbotoxin is good against this deck, and Trashalanche is good against this deck. Both very, very effective. And looks like we're just going to see an Energy Drive for a solid 100 damage. 120 damage. Igor does have the energy he needs. He can use Absorption GX here and take the knockout on Tapu Lele and try to follow it up next turn with a Knuckle Impact.
Yep, that'd be really, really nice to try and keep that ball rolling. I mean, even if you manage to evolve the Trubbish, it's not going to withstand a Knuckle Impact. So
oh, no.
Zach's really in a position right now where he needs to be getting more basic Pokemon down on the bench. Because while he's still trying to work his way through this really, really big Buzzwole, he's now getting Pokemon on the bench from Igor's side. Now got 2 Rockruffs joining the fray. Those are going to be in a position to, even if Zakary manages to pull something back, anything that he wants on the bench as soon as they become a Lycanroc, brought up with the Bloodthirsty Eyes.
Yeah, look, Knuckle Impact is, Dangerous Rogue is very good against, these Espeon GX decks. Oh. It's a very easy way to take a knockout for very few energies.
No flip of the GX counter.
No, so, it looks like he did choose to go for Knuckle Impact, wanting to value having that option to Dangerous Rogue later in the game.
Yeah, and I mean, I think he knows as well that he's going to lose it to this Garbodor. So there's no point saving yourself thinking, well, I can Absorption, then Knuckle Impact. If you can't attack during this next turn, it's really not a problem when that Pokemon doesn't have a next turn.
Absolutely. Yeah, and Zakary did have that Garbodor, like you said, and the Psychic Energy, so I believe there will be enough items to, pick up that last 90 HP on Buzzwole. Doesn't need a lot to get that knockout. And yeah, it looks like it is indeed enough.
Not even going to count.
Yep, 2 prizes there for Zakary. Igor down to 3 remaining.
Are those 2 prizes the ones he wanted, though?
Yes.
He has been playing. Obviously, we don't get a full look at what's in the deck as well as he may do, but you got to wonder, was there something he saw in there that he just wasn't happy about? And he just said, I'm not okay with that. One of these Trubbishes is in danger, though.
Looks like we do see a Guzma come out. Going to bring up the Trubbish, and a Jet Punch will hit it for a solid 50 damage and prep 30 damage on that Garbodor, making it easier to knock out in the coming turns.
Doesn't look like there's a Float Stone in there. He is taking a look in Igor's discard. You can see if Trashalanche is the player, or maybe he's got a little more breathing room to try and get some Garbotoxin in.
Yeah, we will just have to see. Looks like Trubbish does hit the bench. He'll have the option to try to find a Floatstone this turn. He could also even just go for an Acid Spray with the Trubbish. Choice Banded Acid Spray for 1 Psychic Energy does 80 damage to a Buzzwole, and you have the chance to discard an energy. That's a pretty good attack if you ask me against these Buzzwole decks. And if he could find a Garbodor here with this Ultra Ball, he'd even get to do Trash Lance for 80 damage. I believe looking through Igor's discard pile, there were 2 items in there when we just looked. Looks like he's grabbing the Garbotoxin though.
Yep, I mean, he's going right back in the deck with the extra Tapu Lele. So the bench nice and full now, but not all in the premium positions. Not quite as set up as he'd like to be, and still no sign of that Espeon.
Yeah, no Espeon yet. Looks like he's going to get a Professor Sycamore from that Tapu Lele's Wonder Tag. Just going to try to draw a lot more cards this turn. I wonder if he'll evolve his active Trubbish. Or I guess that's the only one he can evolve. He just benched the other one. So he's really going to be hoping to hit the Floatstone off of this Professor Sycamore.
His
it's really going to be big.
Is looking very thin, though. Pulling 7 cards out of that, you've got to think you're in good odds there to do so. We'll be making sure he gets a
Actually here, Acid Spray on Garbodor with the Trash Lance attack would do 200 damage and just knock out this Buzzwole if he finds the Floatstone. Let's see if he gets it. I don't see it quite yet. Oh, I think I was there.
Yeah, I think it flashed across.
I think I did see it in one of those cards, one of those first couple. This is going to be a huge turn for Zakary Krekeler. There it is coming out. Acid Spray going to do 200 damage. Igor just kind of not sure how to feel about this. Drawing his cards, he's in a tough spot at this point.
Yeah, I mean, there is the upside. You got a little bit of damage down on those Garbodor, and you're going to be in a decent position to try and kind of wear those down a little bit quicker. But there's no big-name attackers, no superstars on Igor's side of the field. You've got Rockruffs and a Mew. That's not what you're looking for.
Igor just benched a Remoraid and retreated into it and passed. So he doesn't even have any playable cards in his hand. You can just tell by Igor's body language he is not happy with the way this game is going. And Acid Spray is just going to be enough to take that KO. Once again, a Fighting Energy can let him encounter with Mew EX, but his Tapu Lele is already in play. There's nothing he can do. Igor's just going to concede the game.
Good game.
That is it. Zakary only had 1 prize card remaining. Could have taken a knockout with Acid Spray on any of those 60 or 50 HP Pokemon, and wow, a quick 2-0 from Zakary, taking down Igor Costa here in a very quick 2-0. Yeah, very quick 2-0.
Yeah, those games really, really prompt, actually, from Zakary. Basically able to storm through and then keep on going. That game 2 looks so rough for Zakary. You know, we saw him lose his Espeons,